7 penny stocks doubled your money in less than 2 weeks. CXAI, DVLT, ORBS, VSEE. In the comments below is a link to my video from 2 weeks ago. Had you followed my advice to the T, you would have made an average of 40.23% per idea. In at Buru, not once, but twice at 18, out at 22, including this morning. Yeah, it's a notorious diluter, but if you know when to get in and when to get out, you can make money in BURU. CXAI, I gave it to you at 13.5 on the 19th of May. It ran to a quarter, not once, but twice. Could have bought it back on Thursday/Friday at 17 and small change. Sold it again this morning at 26.5. That's a 53% profit twice. DVLT, I gave it to you at 47. It actually went all the way down to 39. I'm not going to hold you to it, even though we bought it there and ended up selling at 51 and change. That just touched 56 about an hour and a half ago. At a minimum, you would have made 20% in DVLT. GCTK was actually a hold when I did the video a couple of weeks ago. It subsequently went to a buy shortly thereafter. Now, I took a small loss because I'm actually sending nearly 10 grand a month to the IRS to pay for all these capital gains. The month of May was the most money I've ever made, including inside of the Discord, ever. GCTK was a 38% profit. NACA, I gave it to you at 16 before the reverse split. It actually went down to 13. Again, I'm not going to hold you to that buy. If you'd have been in the Discord, you'd have loaded up, got your average down to 15. It ran to 7.5. So at minimum, NAKA was a 17% profit. And then you could have bought it back at 4.5 and sold it on the insider buying when it bounced to 6.5 for another 35% profit. But again, that's not part of the equation. The two big whoppers were ORBS in the video down below from 2 weeks ago. I gave it to you at 74. It ran to $1.22. 3 days later, that was a 65% profit. You could have bought that back at 86, sold it at $1 and change this morning for another 20%, but I'm not holding you to that. And last but certainly not least, I gave you VSEE at 15. It ran all the way to a quarter and change. That's a 67% profit. So ladies and gentlemen, before I jump to the Qs and Bitcoin in closing, ask yourself, in fact, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, how many YouTubers, how many Discords on the fucking planet have given you 6 or 7 ideas, and in less than 2 weeks, you would have more than doubled your money? Outside of this guy, none. They don't tell you when to get out. It's one thing to copy everybody else on these stock screeners. I told you to buy XYZ at $1. It ran to 2.5. Okay, where's it now? Well, it's $1.25. Okay, so you didn't tell me to get out, and I missed a 200% move. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Free Discord? You know what we are? From now on, a premium brand. We're no longer trying to be all things to all people. When you're performing like this, when you've generated a 22x return in less than 3 years, when you are up 968% in less than a year, no more of this $20 to get started Walmart motherfucking bullshit. You fucking clowns that are listening to me right now had 2.5 months. Yeah, log off. I don't want your business. I'm talking to less than 1% of you from now on. You had 2.5 months to get in the door for $20. Your first 2 months cancel anytime. Even after this video for an entire week, how many of you pulled the trigger? One. One person paid this guy back for giving him more than a double in 6 names. We're done with that stuff. The videos from now on will cut to the chase. They'll be much shorter and a lot less salesy. I'm not begging anyone or bending over backwards with my ass cheeks wide open ever again. If we get one solid newbie a week, I'm thrilled. Because from now on, it's $300 to get in the door. Oh, I'm not paying $300. God, get the fuck out of here. Immediately upon doing so, I give you a $600 credit on sign up. Cancel anytime. In other words, I'm actually giving you $300 to hang out with me and 100 and some odd of my friends for 90 days. And if there's anybody still watching me in this video that doesn't think you're going to get your $300 back, because again, I immediately give you $600 the minute you come in the door, then you are not only on the wrong channel, but you're on the wrong fucking planet. And in closing, we have a market right now at all-time highs, 741 on the Qs. It's sloughed off Iran saying no deal. You've got NVIDIA going after AMD and Intel. It's up 5% on the day. Anything related to SpaceX IPO, which again is on June 12th, is smoking. SPCE was a $2 stock. It's now 7 and change. But wait a second. What the fuck is going on with Bitcoin? It just broke down through yet another level of support. And yes, if you've never seen any of my videos, and I just started doing screen shares a few weeks ago, I've been using Yahoo Finance now since 1993. I was a licensed stockbroker in South Florida between 93 and 07. I've made all the mistakes, including going bankrupt in 2008, so you don't have to. And when I tell you that we're up 22x in less than 3 years, we are averaging 700% returns every fucking year since we opened our door. It's no joke. I sold my trade at 82.5 when it got rejected, not once, not twice, but 3 times at the downward sloping 200-day moving average. By the way, in case I haven't mentioned it yet, you don't need to have fucking trading view, which is awesome, in order to make money in the stock market. I'm a simpleton. Can't even fucking change my oil or a tire to save my life. There is no honey-do list, nor will there ever be in my house. But when you stare down the barrel of the same fucking chart, the same system, for 30 plus years, you develop something called pattern recognition, and I can look at a stock and draw upon my Rolodex and tell you with a 95% degree of accuracy within a second or two whether a stock is going up or down. And not only the stocks that I gave you 2 weeks ago, we had WGRX. Had you pulled the trigger for $20, we made 76% 3 days after my last video. So you would have had what? I don't know. Tripled your money? Ladies and gentlemen, there is trouble in paradise. In my next video, I will share 3 major red flags, one of which you're staring at right now. How in the world does the stock market, namely AI and space-related stocks, continue to melt higher when crypto, the king of crypto, including Ethereum, Solana, etc., continues to melt down? I will answer all that and more in my next video. So until next time, always remember that I love you. And thank you so very much for watching.